Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we shall study about the subject school, community and teacher. This is lecture number 28 and the topic of today's lecture is creating positive classroom environment. The outlines of lectures are first of all we shall introduce the main topic, then how to structure the physical environment and how to structure physical environment, and then we shall study about the role of self-esteem in the classroom. So first of all we see that structuring the physical environment. How do we structure the physical environment? Like we see how the desk arrangement is there, or student placement, and how the classroom decorations may be made, and how music in the classrooms can be arranged. So if we talk generally structuring the physical environment, then the term physical environment refers to the overall design and layout of the given classrooms and its learning centers. Teachers should design the environment by organizing its spaces, furnishing and materials to maximize the learning opportunities and the engagement of every child. The physical environment is where individuals live, learn, work and play. People interact with their physical environment through the air they breathe, water they drink, houses they live in, and the transportation they access to travel to work and school. The physical environment can impact on how students learn. Inappropriate learning environments can create barriers to learning. For example, or noisy classrooms can impede both concentration and ability to hear the lecture. Good physical environments can aid students' learning. Classroom physical environments affect morale and students' learning. Including students in creating the physical environment can enhance that environment. So increase the feelings of classroom community and give students a sense of empowerment. So there are different strategies for developing the optimal classroom climate and culture, like address students' needs, create a sense of order, greet students at the door every day, let students get to know your students, avoid rewarding to control, avoid judging, employ close building games and activities. Students learn to respect physical boundaries. There are boundaries between students' areas and teachers' only areas, as well as boundaries between each of the students' individual work areas. So this provides opportunities to teach students to respect other people's spaces and belongings. An important skills in all life settings, students learn to anticipate the specific type of activities that will occur in specific areas of the classroom. This helps students participate more fully in the activity because they will enter the area with the mindset that corresponds with the anticipated activity. Knowing which activity is next also can ward off misbehavior that often occurs when students are caught off guard or have inaccurate expectations regarding what is about to occur. So students will also learn which behavior are acceptable and expected in each specific location of the classroom, and which behaviors are not acceptable or expected in certain other classroom locations. So this too is a valuable life lessons that is important at home, in the community and on the job site. So generally when we talk about physical environment, so it includes lands, air, water, plants, animals, buildings and other infrastructure, and all of the natural resources that provide our basic needs and opportunities for social and economic development. A clean, healthy environment is important for people's physical and emotional well-being. So one by one we will discuss these four areas. First of all, desk arrangement. This is very important. Desks groups where the students facing each other can help stimulate student discussions. So this is one of the setting of desk arrangement. How are the few plans to put into collaborative learning, ideas collection, like Foursquares? This is probably one of the most basic collaborative desk arrangement ideas, like three tables, five house shoes, group circles in a U shape, and mix it up. Students have reported that seating arrangements impact the learning process. Students occupying the front rows are most attentive than those in the back. The students in front are the ones who generally answer questions asked in the class. So, classroom arrangements from a student's point of view symbolizes their personality. Seating arrangement, this is very important. Classroom setting events because they have the potential to help prevent problems, behaviors that decrease students' attentions and diminish available instructional time. The purpose of this synthesis of empirical literature is to determine which arrangements of desk best facilitate positive academic and behavioral outcomes for primary through secondary high school students with a range of characteristics. So, different studies that investigated in the last 2-3 common arrangements, that row, groups, semicircles were considered. So, results indicate that teachers should let the nature of the desk dictate seating arrangements. So, evidence supports that idea that students display higher level of appropriate behavior during individual tasks and when they are seated in rows with disruptive students benefiting the most. This is another seating arrangement. Desk in a single or double rows are good for demonstration and independent work. This is also one of the most important arrangement of the desk, in which everybody sits like individually, and they can work independently and without any interruption of their friends or peers from their surroundings. The other arrangement that is like desk in U-shaped, uh, these are recommended wherever the possible, because when students would be in front of each other, so they can communicate and they can observe the other students what they are doing. So by observing the other students, they can motivate themselves internally, and they can initiate themselves for the study. This is also one of the students arrangement. Desk and workstations are suited for the students who have developed self-management skills. Remember that all seating arrangements should accommodate an inclusive learning environment. Foreman in 1996 noted that some classrooms may require free and quiet spaces to facilitate learning. Then we talk about student placement. Place easily distracted students away from each other. Doorways, windows, and areas of high traffic. A student placement is a real work experience gained within a real working environment that will complement and support the student's degree qualification and provide mutual benefit to both the employer and the student. Speak to the teacher at your school or college and ask them whether they have arrangements in place where with the local employers. If so, your school or college may help you arrange your placements. Apply directly to an employer for the place on the work experience program they run. Preferably place to one side of the classroom close to the front. An inclusive classroom should place students in areas of the class best suited to their needs. Then comes to the classroom decoration. Classroom decoration is often overlooked because teacher will fill the walls with the students' work anyway. It can create a whole new world for the students and be used to stimulate their imaginations. So visual aids like projectors and smart whiteboards can also be implemented. The ideal classroom is a positive place where a student can come to the work towards specific goals set before them in the class objectives. The teacher is to be positive, organized, outgoing, confident, and compassionate. The instructor often sets the tones for the entire classrooms. Students likes to see their own work displayed even in high schools. Classmate postures help students develop a sense of belonging to the classroom. And plants and animals can have positive effect on the classroom. Classroom learning, as the name suggests, encompasses the merit of the settings of one traditional classroom. So classroom learning needs a certain number of participants or students to be active listeners and participate in that learning environment. And the students and teachers need to be physically present in the classroom. Then music in the classrooms. Music education, you know that this is a field of study associated with the teaching and learning of music. The incorporation of music training from preschool to post-secondary education is common in most nations because involvement in music is considered a fundamental component of human culture and behavior. While there can be some initial challenges to integrating music into the classroom, there are many benefits that can be gained when music is appropriately used. Reduces feeling of anxiety and stress, helps children regulate their emotions, improves concentrations and on-task behavior. Music can be a great addition to any classrooms. If you would add music component in your classroom, so it would add or it would reflect with a great addition. Like use as reward, create positive mood, helps broaden musical experiences. In inclusive classrooms, music can comfort or calm and help focus some students. Music ignites all areas of child development and skills for the school readiness, including intellectual, social, emotional, motor, language, and overall literacy. It helps the body and the mind work together. Exposing children to music during early development helps them learn the sounds and meaning of words. Now, here structuring the emotional environment. It is the teacher's responsibility to value each and every one of the students in their class so that the students feel special and important. This is seen by Groundwater Smith et al. In 1998. This is very important because this is teacher responsibilities to value each and every one, because in the classroom when we pay attention to particular students, then the rest of the students they feel and they remain in a complex that the teacher is not paying attention to them. So remember that during the class teacher must attend to all of the students and they have to put their efforts for all of them. An emotional environment is one that promotes emotionally or emotional well-being and provides stability for the children's according to the individual needs. A good emotional environment will provide the children with adults who will provide them with emotional support, understanding their feelings and showing empathy. A student attending the structured learning classrooms needs intensive support and predictable, consistent routines and structure throughout the school day to engage in learning activities and different areas like communication, social skills, academic tasks, and behavioral managements. So there are some examples that we can quote regarding social and emotional skills. That includes displays self-control, expresses feelings with words, listens and pay attention, pride in accomplishment, has a positive self-image, asks for help when needed, shows affections to familiar people, aware of other people's feelings. So, health and physical education promotes a physically and emotionally safe learning environment that recognizes and respects the diversity of all children and youth and accommodates individuals' strengths, needs, and interests. The bond between teacher and students is much more important for students with management and behavioral issues such as ADHD and Asperger's. Moreover, structuring the emotional environment, students needs extra motivation so they can maintain attention, work consistently, and avoid boredom associated with repetitive tasks. Then Spaniards, according to Spaniards, this is a bond with the teacher can encourage, inspire, and greatly insist them. Knowing and liking you. First of all, it is better to develop and extend children's background and language knowledge on the topic or experience of interest. So then you must establish the purpose for the writing and intellectually engaging opportunity for students to apply new learning. Students might write a letter to a local newspaper or write directions for a new game they have developed. So it is important that you should write the entire text yourself in front of students. Uh, as we have discussed that it is important that you should write the entire text for yourself in front of students. Papers or documents may also, while requesting input from students regarding aspects of the writing where they most need to expand their expertise. Consider, for example, whether your students need to focus attentions on paragraph structure, word choice, or sentence expansions. Now, there are some questions like who you are. This is what the question related to knowing or liking you. What you stands for, and what you will ask them to do. What you will not ask them to do. What you will do for them, and what you will not do for them. So this is all what that you are asking about knowing and liking. Then come strategies. Strategy, you know that this is generally involves setting goals and priorities, determining actions to achieve the goals, and mobilizing resources to execute the actions. A strategy describes how the ends will be achieved by the means. It involves activities such as strategic planning and strategic thinking. Strategy is an action that managers take to attain one or most of the organization's goals. So, strategy can also be defined as a general direction set for the company and its various components to achieve a desired state in the future. Strategies involves students personally and make frequent eye contact, negotiate rules and routines with students, acknowledge positive behaviors, use positive language, interact with the student. Moreover, the strategy involves minimize embarrassment, use humor, use bibliotherapy, use class meetings, take home buddies, yellow pages, and then self-esteem defined. Self-esteem is an individual's subjective evaluation of their own worth. Smith and Mackey define it is by saying the self-concept is what we think about the self. Self-esteem is the positive or negative evaluations of the self or in how we feel about it. In psychology, the term esteem is used to describe a person's overall sense of self-worth or personal value. In other words, how much you appropriate or appreciate and like yourself Self-esteem often seen as a personality trait, which means that it tends to be stable and enduring. Inflated self-esteem, people with inflated self-esteem think that they are better than others and have no doubts about understanding everyone else. High esteem, self-esteem, people with this type of self-esteem accept and value themselves. An individual's sense of their value or worth, or the extent to which a person value approves of, appreciates, prizes, or likes him or herself. Favorable or unfavorable attitudes toward the self. Then self-esteem breakdowns. This is earned self-esteem, means developed when students have accomplished something worthwhile or behaved in a personally or socially responsible way. A product of achievement, not the cause. Achievement leads to self-esteem. Then global self-esteem, that is a general sense of pride in oneself, not necessarily a reality-based evaluation or a self-esteem. Then there are some implications for teacher. What are the implications? Like don't disregard self-esteem. Focus on techniques that will result in increased earned self-esteem. Don't shield students from feeling of sadness, frustration, and anxiety when they lose, fail, or make mistakes. Teach resiliency and self. Then there are some strategies like pro-social values are there, copying skills are there, courage, managing feelings, social skills and goal achievements, and evidence-based self-knowledge. This was all about this lessons today. Being and listening carefully. Take care. Allah Hafiz.